Alright, how we doing, ladies and gentlemen? Over on the YouTube side of things, this is going to be a build guide for a war crime. Let's put it that way. I've made something exceptionally stupid. It is low intensity, high damage, and benched higher than my raid. And I made it just for the hell of it, I guess. I wanted to make a frost mage, and I did it a little bit too well. Turns out Reaper has access to something that makes it so when you apply chill, you also apply bleed. So I took this concept and I ran with it, and yeah, it's really dumb. It's really dumb. This is the first build I've made in a long time that can just solo champs without any real issue, because the thing about Necromancer is I have 39k EHP, 37k EHP right now, but my life force bar is 16k. I literally have 39k EHP plus constant healing, plus constant damage from constant healing from my conditions, plus multiple layers of crowd control, plus perma chill on everything, so it's 66% reduced all the time. It is hilarious, and it is exceptionally easy, and on top of that, it is one weapon set. I am purposefully using staff because I want to get the Jormag staff to be able to have a frost staff. So one staff throws a frostbolt, a rainbow frostbolt, and the other staff throws a frostbolt. Yeah, I'm literally using a LI meme build in raids, outbenching my team and taking it into T100s and still clapping. So, with that, let me get into the build and showcase what this does. So, the point of this setup is to utilize the Grandmaster Reaper trait. And going straight down the middle line here. So, in Reaper, you have Deathly Chill, which is a renamed trait from Guild Wars 1, which was one of the best abilities in the game. Or no, it was Deathly Swarm. That's what it was. Deathly Chill was also really good, if I remember correctly. But this makes it so that your chill deals damage over time. But what the trait says and what it does are two very different things. Chill doesn't deal damage over time, unfortunately, even though it says it does. Instead, what happens is when you apply a chill, you apply 4 stacks of bleeding. Right? So, chill deals damage over time, air quotes, but the actual mechanic itself doesn't deal any damage over time. So, what we instead wind up doing is we want to apply as much chill as humanly possible, because every single stack of chill will apply 4 bleed. So you can assume I did something very, very stupid. So let's just go through the build very quickly, and then I'll show you what I do with it and how it works, okay? So, primary things that we make this work is just a straight middle line down Reaper. So, when we crit something, then there will be an adjacent chilling nova, which will go off and cause an AoE that will chill everything else. It'll do an extra little hit of damage. It can't retroactively chain off itself, unfortunately. That would be too good. But it does have a little bit of an ICD, but ICDs, I've learned, are per target. And so this will do a nice AoE chill. So if this goes off, the original one will inflict 4 bleed. The AoE will inflict 4 bleed on everything else as well. Then, whenever you inflict fear, you also chill, which now means our Staff 5 inflicts chill because our Staff 5 is a fear. This also means our Reaper Shroud 3 will inflict chill because Reaper Shroud 3 is a fear if you repress it. Chill lasts longer, and chilled foes take increased strike damage from your attacks. You'll see here I have a very high health pool, and you're going to probably wonder why my damage is so high on Reaper's Mark, because I'm running Celestial gear. So I have hybrid power and hybrid Condi damage at the exact same time. Now, it might bench higher on full Condi, it might, well, it wouldn't bench higher on Berserker. It might bench higher on full Condi. I don't have full Condi gear to try it. I mean, I could maybe whip something up, but it's whatever. Then we go into curses up here, and we have critical hits have a chance to cause bleeding. Critical hits here, critical hits from here, right? Because we're playing Celestial, we have insanely high critical hit chance by default. Since we're playing full Celi gear, with some Berserker accessories here, I'm sitting at a solid 50% crit chance. So we're coin flipping every spell on whether or not we pop a crit nova. And coupled with the chance on crit to bleed, and increases bleed duration. increases bleed duration, bleed on chill. It gets better. Blinding a target will also apply chill. Okay. The well that applies chill also pulses blind, which means the chill applies 4 stacks. The blind will then hit the ICD of chilling darkness and then apply another 4 stacks of bleed. Yeah. But this gets even better. This is the real fun interaction, because on my staff, we have Superior Sigil of Mischief, which, fun fact, is also used to craft Winter's Presents, which I'm going to get to really complete the full outfit. And really, more annoying fact, if you want to have a laugh mid-video, I can do everything in Winter's Presents right now. I can get the Essence of Mischief, Essence of Snowfall, and the Obsidian Crystal, and I can go and quaff 10,000 drinks. But I have to wait until Christmas for 1 boss kill. I have 2 out of 3 Frozen Claw during Winter's Day, because I didn't kill Jormag 3 times. I have to wait 4 months. Travesty, I know. So, where was I? So, coming back to the build here. Let me rerun that on my side monitor real fast. And coming back here, we gain Fury when we enter Shroud, and then gain additional Precision, because more crit chance is even funnier. Parasitic Contagion. A percentage of your condition damage heals you. Like I said, the bleed is going off all the time, so we're getting crazy good damage from that. Then, we have increased critical strike chance for each condition on the foe, which, of course, we're applying Bleed from Mark of Blood, Chill, Poison, Vulnerability, and then we're transferring any conditions with Putrid Mark, and then Vulnerability, Chilled, Fear. And then we pick up Terror at the end for Fear you inflict deals damage per second. Now, I don't know if this scales with power or condition damage or whatever have you, but it hits like a freight train as well. So you get extra damage over time on top of our damage over time, because I heard you like damage over time. So then we go Spite, because I'm me and I'm a spiteful fuck. Shroud skill 1 grants might, so you're auto-attacking with Reaper Shroud, passively granting might. Chilling a foe lets you hit a flow and inflict vulnerability. Death's Embrace will make it so you deal increased strike damage while downed, and then inflict vulnerability when you hit something below 50%. So, chilling a foe inflicts vuln, hitting something below 50% inflicts vuln. Lesser Spinal Shivers casts at 50% health threshold, which will chill and boon rip. Passively, just automatically. Keep in mind, every single time it says chill, you are inflicting another 4 bleed. And then we have Gain Might when you hit a foe below the health threshold, which is 50%. And then we have Inflicting Fear on a foe, gives you boons, and Shroud skill 3 partially recharges when you defeat foes. This makes it so that when you inflict your fear from your Reaper's Mark, you are keeping up constant fury, giving you 75% crit chance, coupled with percent crit chance based on the target's active conditions, which pushes you to about 80, 90 type crit chance. And then you get Condi damage based on a percentage of precision, because fuck you, I guess. So, with that being said, let's pop into the gear real fast. I have full runes of the crate, because this is going to give me 50% increased bleeding duration. Because you would think we want to go chill duration, right? We want to go runes of Grinth. That would make the most sense. You want longer chill. But you see, the chill isn't what applies bleed. If it worked correctly, how the tooltip says it's supposed to work, what you would assume it would do is that you put the chill on the target, and the longer the chill lasts, the more the bleed damage is ticking. What's really funny is they've already done this. Terror does exactly what you think this node should do, which is while the enemy is feared, a separate damage over time is ticking as its own number, which is exactly what you think they would add to chill via Deathly Chill. But they just didn't, I guess. Don't ask me why, because I broke it. So, yeah, it's really fun. Don't know why. Literally 2 nodes in the same tree that should do what it's supposed to do, but it doesn't, because small indie company, I guess. I don't know, dude. I just work here. So, like I said, Grinth makes sense. We can't have sense here. So, Crate gives us 50% bleed duration because all of our damage comes from bleed, not the chill itself, because the one chill just does one really long 66% action speed reduction, rather than perpetually applying the damage over time based on the chill duration and scaling it up that way. So, we wind up going for Runes of the Crate instead. Across all of these, I'm using full Celestial, and then I have a couple of Berserker pieces here because it's just what I had on hand, and then I have Celestial in the backpack. And then both of the staves are Mischief and Ice. Now, why Mischief? Sounds stupid, right? Yes, but you launch up to 4 blinding snowballs at targets in front of you when you swap this weapon in combat. Like I said, we're using staff, which means when we swap staves, we fire a blinding snowball that hits like a little bitch. It does nothing really useful, but it blinds, so it inflicts chill, which means it inflicts 4 stacks of bleed on everything, which then means you inflict 4 stacks of bleed on pretty much everything here, because we're also using the Superior Sigil of Ice, which will chill a foe for 2 seconds after striking from its flank or when it's defiant. Cool things about marks, it don't give a fuck about positioning. It doesn't care if you're behind the target. It doesn't give a shit about any of it. All it cares about is where you put the mark. So if you put the mark behind the target, then all of a sudden you're hitting it from the back. Yeah, I know, it's fun. So it goes off of the centralized location of where that mark indicator is. So that's the flank position, whereas that isn't. Now, even more fun fact. That's a fear mark. What do they do when feared? Run away from the mark. Which means you're always getting flank marks, which are always triggering chill. Yeah, I know. It's hilarious. But trust me, you haven't seen the good part yet. It gets even crazier, I promise. You haven't seen me use it yet. So, now, what will end up happening is we're always getting flank marks from triggering ice, which is then giving us even more chill on a 10-second CD. That chill can potentially crit because it's a spell cast, obviously. So that crit can trigger the Chilling Nova. The Blinding Snowballs, I believe, could also potentially crit, which could trigger the Chilling Nova. And then it will hit everything, blind everything, and then give you 4 stacks of bleed on everything. Yeah, and then it'll give you might because you strike a chilled foe if you use it retroactively. So you basically get an extra 6th button on this setup here. So now we have it so that when you hit something in the first place with your Mark of Blood, if you hit it just right, it'll proc your Sigil of Ice. Or if you use Reaper's Mark, it'll fear it, proc your chill, and then let you proc the Sigil of Ice because it's going to be running away from you. Yeah, it's really good. Really good, big fan. Then we run Relic of the Ice, because if we are playing a Frost Mage, you can't not have icicles. Full stop. If we're playing a Frost Mage from World of Warcraft, if we're emulating a Frost Mage on any character whatsoever, you can't not have icicles, right? So what this does is after using your elite skill, you will launch icicles at nearby enemies. 3 icicles per target, up to 5 targets. Up to 4 targets with the Mischief. So we huck snowballs that can crit everything, bleed everything, freeze it, or freeze everything, chill everything. We pop Chilled to the Bone, which chills, does AoE damage, stuns everything, grants us a shit ton of boons, and then launches a fuckload of relics, or a fuckload of relic icicles at everything. It's hilarious, it's beautiful, you're gonna love it. So, then we, at the same time, pop Suffer, which will chill and inflict vulnerability, as well as transfer conditions to foes you strike, and just do raw damage overall, which is where the Celestial comes in handy because we're doing both power damage with this and then Condi damage with the bleeds, right? So power damage on the shout, power damage on the shout, power damage on the well, and then Condi damage on the bleed that we're inflicting from the chill over and over and over again. Now, our final slot here is interchangeable. If you're in the open world, I would suggest running Epidemic. Unfortunately, this has been capped, so it's not exceptionally overpowered anymore, but it is still really fun to spread all of the bleed and the chill and everything else on the target all at one time with pressing one button. Real big fan of it. A lot of fun to run in the open world. If you're up against a boss, however, I think Spectral Ring is the best option because it will put a spectral ring underneath the boss that will keep perpetually triggering fear, which will then perpetually trigger chill, which will then perpetually trigger fear deals damage over time from the terror option here. And then in the last place, we have Signet of Vampirism, because if you don't have to heal, you will just passively be doing more damage. Okay, so with that being said, let me explain the rotation. Roll your face on the keyboard, profit. That's the Necromancer experience. So, effectively, what I'm going to do is pop Shield to the Bone and Suffer at the exact same time. Then I'm going to auto-attack Weapon Swap, and the Weapon Swap will trigger Chilling Darkness. And then I will pop the Well, pop the Spectral Ring, dump everything, go into Reaper's Shroud 5, 3, 2, 4, and then dump the 3, and then auto-attack until everything comes back off cooldown. Pop out of Reaper Shroud, repeat. That's it. That's the rotation. Rocket science. I know. Absolute rocket science. And then just watch. Watch the bleed count number. You're going to absolutely cry. Okay? Let's go. I did that wrong. But we topped out at 80? Yeah, that was fun. I'll do that again in a second. That is a million that is a million health golem. That burst did 250,000 damage. That is a 1 million health golem. Let's see if I can't reset my CDs here. God, I'm trying to remember how to use this bloody thing.
Hi there. Use the
Adjust
console for
self.
combat testing. If you have any inquiries, come speak to me.
Oh, whatever. But yeah, so that is... Let me just remove the current golem. If you drop my combat, hopefully. Yeah, there we go. Small golem. Average. 1 million. Run it again. And then... How do I... Oh, no, I don't want to... Can I not stalk my Reaper Shroud? Ah, fuck it. We ball. We do it again. That's fine. Okay, like I said, I did that wrong because I literally screwed up my weapon swap. And I did the wrong rotation. Because the problem is if you drop the Well first, the Well will blind and trigger the Chilling Darkness. So then you don't get any value out of the Snowball. It doesn't really do anything. So you want to kind of do it in the right order if you're doing it on a boss. If you're doing it in the open world, it doesn't really make a big difference because you can use them separately on different cooldowns and it won't particularly matter, all in all. Might be a little unfortunate because I don't think I'm going to have access to full Reaper Shroud, but... Oh, well, whatever. I'll show you the damage without Reaper Shroud then, which is even just as crazy. So, 4-2, and then weapon swap, 1Q, and then dump. And that's pretty much it. $83. There you go. And that was without me being able to stay in Reaper Shroud for all that long and doing the rotation wrong because I wanted to get the 4 out instead. So we cap out at 83 bleed stacks. Oh, absolutely criminal. Absolutely criminal. And absolutely brain dead easy. So, I'm going to give you some gameplay in a separate video where I'm going to take this into T4 fractals and go maul everything. And it's going to be hilarious. We're going to have a great time. So yeah, one last time to take a look at the build. Crate runes with full celestial, a couple of berserker trinks in here. That's the setup. We got Spite 3-1-1, Curses 3-3-2, and Reaper straight up the middle. With a Relic of Ice, which, by the way, this is what the icicles look like. They look exactly like icicles from World of Warcraft. Just that one proc alone, 27 bleed. Love this build.